Hello and welcome learners of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today in our scintillating lesson, we are going to concentrate on reward management. This is being offered in the first year of MBA second semester, and the block is reward management and employee management. So reward management. Let's get started. I have these curious questions for you. The first and the foremost question that comes to mind when you think about reward management is money always the most powerful motivator at work? What do you think? Is there something beyond money? The other question that I have for you, just to stimulate you for this lesson, is why do highly paid employees sometimes quit organization? Is there something beyond them, or is that money not able to hold them back? The third question that I have for you in this lesson is that can rewards unintentionally reduce teamwork and cooperation? What are your thoughts? Think about it. For this brain-racking lesson, let's move to the fourth question. The fourth question is precisely, is fairness more important than the amount of reward? How do you place transparency and fairness into the reward system? That's what I have for you. The last and the final question that I have for you is, should rewards be linked strictly to performance? Is there something called performance-based measures for the rewards? These are the bunch of questions that I have for you, and let's dive deep into it. So, rewards management, why does it matter? Let's look deeply into it. The first and the foremost thing that comes to our mind when we think of reward is that rewards strongly influence employees' motivation. One of the three important factors is the attraction, and then followed by motivation. Then the third one is engagement. So being the HR student, you must have seen that how rewards attract employees to the organization. And then while they get inside the organization, they are also supposed to get motivated, and hence they are supposed to be engaged. So employees constantly compare rewards internally and with market peers. There is always this comparison among the employees, not just within the organization but also across or different organizations. And they do compare. So reward management has to be planned well, that you're supposed to be fair and have the equitable measures in the organization. So let's move on and look into our other aspect as far as reward and why is it necessary in the organization. The third one is that reward basically going to help organization attract, retain and engage the talent. Why does someone join any organization? What is there for them? They generally look for extrinsic motivation, that is the reward. And the fourth one is, like, take an example, startup, using stock options to retain critical employees. So what is the value that the organization is placing before the employees, or what is the value accrued by the employees as far as rewards are concerned? So there is a fit, there is a match between organizations and employees. That's why rewards are going to matter a lot. The other one, let's dive deep into knowing the meaning of reward management. So what is the meaning, significance and importance of reward? So take a look at this one, the first point. Basically, reward management refers to designing and administering the reward system. There are lots of reward systems, but how do you manage it and how do you also administer it? Because one is only the planning and management part of it, the other one is also to administer it. And that is the reason we need to have a clear, precise designing of the reward management system in place, right? So reward management also includes all the financial, non-financial and psychological rewards. All of them. It encompasses everything that is monetary, non-monetary and behavioral contracts as well. And rewards management basically also try to focus precisely on motivating the employees, and as a result of that motivation, you are basically improving the performance of the employees. That is the need of the hour, because organizations are interested to pay n number of amount to the employees as far as they are performing to the expected level or beyond the expectations as well. And if you look at reward management is also supposed to ensure fairness and consistency and transparency in the pay decisions, because at the beginning I told you that employees do compare their pay with the others as such. Now, some of the objectives that are really important for this lesson, and let's look into them. There are a few objectives that I have planned for you, and maybe by the end of this session you would be in a position to understand these objectives. The first and the foremost objective, if you look at it, is to attract competent and skilled employees to the organization. How do you bring the talent into the organization? So the way to welcome them, the way to attract them, the way to motivate them and stay with you is to have this kind of reward management system in place. The other objective, the second objective that I'm going to talk today, is to motivate employees to achieve a higher level of performance. See, the employees basically come into the organization, but you have to constantly motivate them by giving them perks and maybe incentives, maybe variable pay, and that will motivate them to achieve the higher level of performance. And that's the second objective. The third objective that I have for you is to retain the high performers and critical talent. You know, talent is very rare, and people might jump from one organization to the other organization. And one of the key important factors for their moving from one organization to the other organization is precisely that the other organizations are paying more. And hence, it's important and necessary that you need to retain your employees. You need to keep your flocks together. That is the reason that reward management are necessary. That's why this objective is so very important. If you look at the fourth objective, to ensure internal and external equity in compensation. Internal, when I say, because we are comparing employees within the organization. External, because people are more interested in how others are paying. Take an example in the IT industry. If TCS employees are paid more, then people are also going to compare with the Infosys employees. And that's precisely the idea behind it, isn't it? So the other one is also to control the labor cost while remaining competitive. This is from the organizational perspective, because organizations literally try to keep their cost lower. That means there are no wastages, there are no defective products, and who's going to retain and remain? Especially the employees are responsible for reducing these, wastages and defects. And that is the reason organizations are also interested to pay them more. The final objective of this lesson is ensure compliance with labor laws and regulations. Legality is an important part. Are organizations paying less than the minimum wages, or are they violating it? So the law is also keeping an eye on these organizations. So these are the objectives that we have for you in this session. So let's look precisely or very briefly into the evolution of the reward system. How did it all start? What is the genesis and the beginning of the reward system? The first and the foremost thing, the early reward system focused only on the basic wages and the salary, as we call the base salaries, right? So, but there were not many rewards, or there were not many incentives attached to it. Wages on the hourly basis, salaries perhaps, maybe on the monthly basis. So there was a shift from seniority based pay to performance based pay, which is an incredible, landmark in the reward system. Because most of the organization, if you have seen in the past, they were paying on the basis of the seniority. What about the performance-based measures? So performance-based pay measures have come and evolved in the recent times. Then we have also introduced, thanks to the IT revolution and other industrial revolution in the country, that we have introduced incentives. and bonuses and commissions. Like the sales job, require you to pay commissions to all the sales executives. And if you also look into the evolutionary part of the reward system, then you can think of expansion of benefits and welfare measures. Benefits and services, like you go to canteen, you can have free food, you can have free tea, snacks. A lot of IT companies literally provide many benefits. Some of the benefits could also include like transportation, conveyance, pick and drop facility. And if you're working in the night, then you may be given an extra allowance for that. So this is an evolutionary part of the reward system. And you can clearly see the trajectory of the growth of the reward system in the recent times. And the modern reward system focus on the total rewards approach. Basically, it's a bundle of salaries or wages plus incentives plus benefits and services or welfare measures. And so we moved from the fixed pay to the variable pay, especially in the IT firms. That's why you see a lot of youngsters are in a position to join these organizations, and they are going to make a good amount as far as their services are concerned. So what is the strategic role of rewards? Let's know a little bit about it. So rewards influence employee behavior and performance outcome. Absolutely, because rewards are the reason for you to mold the employees' behaviors and attitudes, and you can even shape up the way that they are contributing to the organizational outcomes. And you can even align individual goals with the organizational strategy. Like, I'm an employee in an organization in this university, so how is that my contribution, my goals are basically linked with the organizational goal? Because somewhere we have to draw those bridges between individuals and also the organization. That's the need of the hour. And if you look at the other important strategic role of the reward system is to support development of high performance work culture. You need to create a culture where the performance is being rewarded, and that is going to create competitive advantage to the organization. And reward system can also act like a tool for talent attraction and retention. This is what we were talking a lot about: attraction, motivation, and retention. And then you should be able to strengthen the employer branding in the labor market. So people are talking about Google, employees of the Google are talking about Google organization. That's an employer branding that is creating the image of the organization in the minds of the people. And that's why it's so very important. Don't you think that organization image, reputation is going to increase with people talking positively about the organization? And that's why the Google rewards system and supporting innovation culture is being talked much in the society. So reward management and the HR strategy, they go together. In fact, rewards are closely linked to the HR planning and staffing. And while you are thinking and planning and strategizing your staffing function, you're also including the reward system in those planning strategies. Isn't that true? And job evaluation outcomes guide the pay structure, because the relative worth of the job is job evaluation. While you are considering different pay grades, you're also considering the pay structures. The pay structures are coming because of the evaluation of the jobs that you have done. And performance management system drive the reward decision. If someone is promoted, what do you mean by promotion? Is that only the elevation of the rank, or there is also an incremental increase in the salary and the reward structure? So that is why PMS, performance management system, is linked to the reward system as such. Training also go together, like the training and skill development affect the pay progression. If I got the best of the training from the West, and then my pay would go up. So look at how training and development is linked to the pay progression. So as I climb up the ladder in the organization, which is quite beneficial. And it also ensures that consistency across HR policy. There is no dispute. There is no kind of, inequity in the organization as far as the pay is concerned. And overall, it helps the organization to achieve that sustainable competitive advantage. What others don't have it, you have an edge over the other organization. That is the need of the hour. So what are the different rewards and how do we conceptualize it? Let's take a closer look at it. So the total rewards include all forms of employee compensation. As I told you, monetary, non-monetary, psychological rewards that you're going to pay to the employees, maybe merchandise, vouchers, coupons, and you may be giving some recognition awards, all of them. So it combines all the financial, non-financial rewards and addresses the diverse needs of multi-generational workforce, and that includes men and women, because some of the males or men may have a different need, whereas females may have different needs. So the rewards can also be designed according to the gender. Rewards can also be designed according to the multi-generational diversity that exists in the organization. It also enhances the employee value proposition. So what is the value that you are giving to the employees? That is another key term that you're going to learn in total rewards management system. And it also improves the motivation, satisfaction, and loyalty among the employees. If a satisfied employee is there, probably the productivity can go up, and it can also lead to loyalty as such. So today the formula is quite simple: salary plus bonus plus recognition plus learning opportunities, and employees do seek for these kind of additional things and so on. So what are the different kinds of components in the rewards? If you look at it, one is the fixed compensation, of course, such as the basic pay and the different allowances that you're going to get, maybe the PF and ESI and so on. You might also have the variable pay. The variable pay might include incentives and the bonuses and the perks. Benefits like the life insurance, health insurance, retirement pension plans, and leave encashment. These are some of the benefits that you have. And probably you can even balance the work and non-work life, and that's where the work-life balance and flexibility would also come as part of the total rewards management. And then maybe you can think of planning. So whose responsibility is it to have the career development of the employees? So if there are more learning opportunities, probably I can climb up the ladder, and that's the key idea behind it. Recognition and appreciation programs would go a long way where money cannot buy it, where monetary rewards may not be able to do so. Calling employees on some occasions like 15th August, 26th January, or maybe on the Foundation Day, and rewarding them with certificates or plaque or maybe some kind of occasion. So that's going to go. So let's look at the financial and non-financial rewards. So financial rewards are certainly going to include all the direct monetary benefits that you're going to get it. So it comes directly, isn't it? And non-financial rewards basically going to satisfy the psychological and the other needs that employees have. So both of them are necessary. One catering to extrinsic, the other one catering to the intrinsic part of it. So money basically going to motivate the diminishing returns over time, and that is the reason we need to have both of them together. Then of course the recognition part improves the morale and the emotional commitment of the employees. Imagine that the employee is going to have that whole lot of confidence because they are taken care of by the organization, and that is the reason we have to include a balance mix of reward, and it's going to have the most effective impact on the organizational employees. So overall, bonus is a financial measure and public appreciation is a non-financial thing that you will come across. So direct financial rewards include they are paid in cash to the employees at the end of the month or maybe at the end of a fortnight, and it includes basic salary, it has dearness allowance, the DA popularly as we call it, and then the variable pay such as bonuses, commissions, and perks. They're purely based on the performance. That's why it's called variable. It varies from the performance to performance. Someone who has sold 10 televisions in an electronic shop versus someone who has sold 50 televisions. So that's going to create a lot of variable pay differences, and overtime payments, commissions, and directly linked to the employee effort and output. And that's why the sales executives generally get these monthly commission on the number of units that they have sold. Let's quickly look into the indirect financial rewards. The indirect financial rewards basically revolve around, in addition to the salary that we give to the employees. It includes provident fund, the PF, and then the gratuity, which is a gift at the end of the tenure or when you achieve a superannuation. And then you also have the retirement plans like the pension benefits plans. So medical insurance, accidental coverage, paid leaves, holidays, maternity benefits, paternity benefits, and it also going to increase and include the social security of the employees, especially for the long-term welfare measures. So company-sponsored health insurances go a long way, and whenever you are sick, you can always avail that. Non-financial rewards are also plenty, like they did not include the direct monetary payment or benefit, but they include recognition, appreciation, and the respect that you get at the workplace. That will go a long way, more than the monetary part of it. And that is why there are opportunities for learning, growing, and progressing in the career. So job enrichment, providing meaningfulness into the job for the employees. So all of them basically going to increase the job satisfaction and also the emotional connect and engagement to the employees. So employee of the month recognition awards can be given, and it go a long way. Now let's look at quickly into the intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Intrinsic is internal, extrinsic is external. Intrinsic rewards come from the job itself, whereas extrinsic reward basically are provided by the organization. So you may have in intrinsic reward the sense of achievement, autonomy, responsibility, whereas in the external thing you have pay, bonuses, promotions. All the tangible part that you're going to see is from the extrinsic part of it, and they basically both are necessary, and intrinsic might have a lot of sustainability and go in the long-term motivation. Like you may feel pride when you complete a project. You may be rewarded externally, but the sense of reward is more and more seen there. So the reward management process is quite simple. It starts with the job analysis and job evaluation, because job evaluation gives you the relative worth of each job, differentiate one job with the other job, and you can design the pay structure through that, and you can link the performance appraisal with the rewards and then take a decision about the incentives to be paid and communicate rewards clearly to them. And then you may have to review time and again based on that. So as I was telling you, that job evaluation and reward, they go together, because this will determine the relative worth of the job, and it also ensures fairness, transparency, and it gives you the logical pay structure that are needed for the time of the organization. And basically you are also trying to prevent the wage distortion, the spread that you have, and maybe you can even address the equity issue in the organization. So higher pay for senior engineer versus a technician, that can be resolved through that. So we'll spend a little time on the pay structures and the grades. So pay structures are basically grouping the jobs within the similar value, and pay grades basically going to define the minimum, midpoint, and the maximum pay, and that's why it's important. And both of them allow the progression within the grade on performance. So it's basically trying to address the issue of the labor cost systematically, like the grade A, grade B, grade C bands that you see in the organization. Like there is this organization called DRDO, and there you have scientists A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. So the internal equity, that as far as the rewards are concerned, internal equity refers to the fairness within the organizations, how different job grades are paid, and employees compare across the different jobs, especially the similar jobs are comparable more than the other jobs, and that is why you have them. And you can achieve that through the job evaluation part of it, and hence you can encourage a trust and the morale among the employees as such. So it's a very fantastic idea to maintain internal equity in rewards, and you need to basically take care of similar work. Same pay, same work can actually going to reduce that. The opposite of that is the external equity and the market pricing. External equity, basically you're comparing yourself or your pay with the others that are present in the market or the market pricing. So salary surveys can actually help you to get those data, and those data points you can always help the organizations to become more and more competitive in nature. And sometimes if you're paying more than the market pricing, it will increase the labor intensity, and sometimes it can also lead to higher cost in the organizations. Isn't that true? So overall, if you look at it, the rewards and employee motivation, they go together, because one of the key fundamental issues with the rewards is to motivate the employees to perform at the higher level. Like performance bonus increases the output level. We have seen that. There are lots of theories which are revolving around these things. A few of the theories of motivation, because the moment you think about motivation, you can't ignore Abraham Maslow's need theory of hierarchical needs. That's why. So physiological to safety to social to esteem, self-actualization, promotion and learning, these are very important. The other theories are also Herzberg two-factor theory of motivators and hygiene. Expectancy theory is an iconic theory which also helps you to focus. So in a way, we are trying to tell you that how these theories are related to the rewards management. So is the case with equity, because equity is trying to compare the input versus output of the self and the others. So overall, the pay for performance is being measured through the performance and the rewards and so on. So there is also this whole idea about the executive and long-term rewards. Basically, how are you going to pay to the senior management or leadership positions, because their focus is largely on the performance-based measures. So that's why we have ESOPs, or the employee stock options, also being offered to them. So in the Indian context, we have come a long way, because we need to follow the law of the land. The labor laws are important, the new wage code that has been implemented, and IT and other startups are basically looking into it. Few of the challenges, let's quickly look into it. Basically, you're trying to balance the core cost of the organization versus the competitiveness, and you need to ensure transparency and fairness. Legal compliance is the need of the hour. So pay parity will also resolve the dispute. So overall, what we have learned today, we have learned that reward strongly influences attraction, motivation and retention. One size fits all will not going to work. It is not a good idea, and balancing the financial and non-financial rewards going to create some level of competition and so on. So rewards must align with the strategy, and the role of HR cannot be discounted. So that brings to the end of this very important lesson on the rewards management. So thank you so much for listening to this educative program, and it's goodbye from all of us from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Education at your doorstep. We'll see you next time with a new lesson. Bye-bye.